Hello and thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This is Politics Now. My name is Morno Bala Gogo. Tonight, our conversation will focus on the PDP Nec meeting. Looking at the talking points, we'll talk about the tussle for chairmanship of the party, resolving warring factions and chances of winning Edo and Ondo politics, and of course, party approach towards the 2027 elections. Joining the conversation is John Schreiber, who is a former member of the Presidential Campaign Council, and of course, under the PDP. Well, before we get into that conversation, we will give you some updates on Kano Politics. And some of the key things we'll touch on is Kano Court upholds Ganduje'S suspension, and talk about corruption allegations against Ganduje'S and Ganduje'S suspension at the ward level versus APC statement, and look at what's happening with an NNPP's faction suspending Governor Yusuf. We'll be right back. A whole lot is going on in Kano State, and there's just been so much to digest. Well, we'll break it down for you right here on the show. The Kano State High Court has issued an expert order affirming the suspension of ex-Governor Abdullahi Ganduje as the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, APC. This development followed the tumultuous period of internal strife within the party. Justice Usman Malam Naba, presiding over the court, granted the order in response to an expert motion filed by two executive members of the APC from the Ganduje'S ward, Laminu Sanu and Haladu Gwanjo. The motion filed on behalf of the ward sought the suspension of the APC chairman, alleging misconduct and breaches of party regulations. The court's ruling mandated Ganduje'S to cease all activities associated with his position as the national chairman of the APC, effectively halting his involvement in the affairs of the National Working Committee. Justice Naba emphasized the need for maintaining the status quo, instructing all parties involved to uphold the suspension pending the substantive suit scheduled for April 30th, 2024. And the suspension of Ganduje'S, initiated by some members of the ward, stemmed from allegations of corruption levied against him by the Kano State government. And that is one side of the story that a lot of us did not expect. Well, you will recall that the Kano State Anti-Corruption and Public Complaints Commission says it has filed fresh charges of corruption and maladministration against the governor, former governor actually, Abdullahi Ganduje. Magaji alleged that the Ganduje government took 1 billion naira from the state coffers a month to the expiration of the administration's tenure in May 2023, but the money was sent to bureau de change operators and not used for road renovation as earmarked. The Kano anti-graft chairman, who said he was being viewed as a stubborn person in some quarters, insisted that the court rules that money laundering was a federal offense, while the commission has the right to probe alleged corruption and maladministration by the Ganduje'S administration. Magaji said though he was appointed by Ganduje'S to head the agency, he won't hesitate to prosecute alleged corruption by the immediate past administration in the state. What is going on in Kano State? Something definitely seems not to be right. Well, Magaji said he started investigating the administration of Ganduje'S when he was Kano governor, and he said there will be no sacred cows in the anti-corruption fight in the state. Is this a case of anti-corruption fight, or this is a case of politics of vengeance? Well, you be the decider of that thought. Well, the situation took a new twist on Monday when some APC executives in Ganduje'S ward in Kano suspending him, insisting that he exonerates himself of corruption charges levied against him by the state government. However, the state executives of the party dismissed the suspension and sanctioned the ward officials involved. The national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Ganduje'S, says that he remains the national chairman of the party. This was actually before now. He was boasting to the Kano State government. But, of course, you would expect that the APC would release a statement. And the APC is accusing the Kano State government of sponsoring elements in Ganduje'S ward to announce the suspension of the national chairman. However, the government has swiftly denied any involvement, labeling it actually as an internal crisis within the party. Meanwhile, the Kano State High Court has affirmed Ganduje'S suspension, and the court, while granting the expert order, also restrained Ganduje'S from further parading himself as a member of the party. How is that going to be possible, looking at a statement from the APC? And the court ordered that henceforth Ganduje'S should desist from presiding overall affairs of the National Working Committee. Now, as if that is not enough, so we've got, the APC against Ganduje'S, that is the APC in Kano State. And then we've got the Kano State government versus Ganduje'S. But things are turning as we are announcing a faction of the NNPP now, bringing out something against Governor Abba Yusuf. Now, this faction is under the Nigerian People's Party, under the leadership of Major Agbo on Tuesday, suspending the governor of the state, Abba Yusuf, for 6 months over his failure to appear before its disciplinary committee to defend an alleged infraction on the party's constitution. Now, Yusuf's suspension was announced by the National Secretary of the faction, Ogini Alakosi, at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday. And addressing journalists at the party secretariat, Olakwesi said the decision to suspend Abba Yusuf was taken by the Board of Trustees in the interest of the party. And the factional secretary said they had yet to come to terms with what the governor, a national figure who was elected under the platform of the NNPP, was doing at an illegal national convention of the Kwankwasiya group led by Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. Now, I would recall that just early this morning in an interview, a government official on behalf of Abba Yusuf was talking about the fact that all of that is just nonsense, because that particular faction of the group, according to what he said, the group cannot just sit, or rather a faction of the NNPP cannot decide to remove a governor, and that is not possible. So there's just quite a lot of drama in Kano State, and we'll be following it closely to see the response, of the Kano State government to the suspension from the faction of the NNPP, and of course following the details of what is going to happen, when the APC reacts to what the court verdict rather on the suspension of Ganduje'S. This has quite a lot of implications. When you look at the politics, in Kano State, the North is always united when we talk about national politics. And I was talking to a friend of mine earlier on that there are great implications, of these challenges that we are seeing in Kano State, especially when you're looking beyond the 2027 general elections. That is, still far away, but there's a whole lot of dynamics to it. Well, we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, our guest will be joining us to talk about the Pdp Nec meeting agenda. Stay with us. Glad to have you back. Of course, it's still politics now. This time around, our guest will be joining us to talk about the PDP Nec meeting. Just to remind you of our talking points again, we'll look at the tussle for chairmanship and, of course, resolving warring factions, chances of winning Ondo elections, party approach towards the 2027 elections. John Schreiber is standing by, but before we bring him up the screen, just to give you a rundown of what we have been following pertaining to this NEC meeting, which is going to be holding tomorrow. Now, the People's Democratic Party's caucus and board of the trustees met today, and the caucus, which comprises the PDP governors, former party leaders, some board members, members and ranking party lawmakers is regarded as the nucleus of the top decision-making of the party. The board, on the other hand, comprises of the elders of the party. But before now, it was learned that the meeting was to brainstorm for the next meeting and ensure a hitch-free engagement. There is anxiety in the People's Democratic Party, PDP, as it prepares for tomorrow's meeting of the National Executive. The division in the leading opposition party has deepened following plans by the expanded decision-making organ led by Ambassador Umar Damagum to restrict attendance to the constitutionally recognized members. And that's the press statement that was released by Honorable Debo Ologunagba, who actually said just a select few would be attending the NEC meeting. Now, meanwhile, the National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party will on Thursday present a report naming members involved in anti-party activities during the 2023 general elections to the National Executive Committee. The national leadership of the PDP had on the 26th of March directed the chairman of the 36 state chapters and the Federal Capital Territory to identify their members involved in anti-party activities during the 2023 general elections. Okay, my producer is telling me now that that list has actually been forwarded. Now, the big question is, will ex-Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike, who openly worked against the party's 2023 presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, be on the list to be submitted to the NEC on Thursday? And Wike, leading his counterparts in Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, Benue Samuel Otom, former governor, and Ebonyi Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. These are, some of the governors who were active, during the course of the general elections. And allegedly, of course, we saw how it all went out, sponsored and favored the sitting president of the country. Now, aside from anti-party report, another issue that is likely to take center stage at the NEC meeting is the question of whether the party's acting national chairman, Umar Damagum, should remain in office or be replaced. Now, a vote of confidence has already been passed on him as of today, and there have been calls for Damagum to be replaced with a substantive chairman earlier. Now, from our findings, about 52 members of the National Caucus Committee are expected at Thursday meeting to make decisions on reconciliation and disciplinary matters and any other issues that could impact the future of the party. The PDP National Caucus is a crucial assembly of party stakeholders that convenes before the NEC meeting and sets the tone for every major decision to be made at the NEC meeting. Well, joining us now on politics now is someone who is very vast. He's a stakeholder in the PDP. He has served as a former member of the Presidential Campaign Council of the PDP. Talking about Honorable John Schweib. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you once again for the privilege of being on your platform.
All right, so why has it taken this long for your party to have this meeting? Let's start from there.
It's also baffling to us as PDP members that for 19 months, we've not had any NEC meeting, more especially after the court judgment, all the court processes, judicial processes have been finished. For us as PDP, we thought we should have had a SWOT analysis of what transpired during the election period, why we failed, and also for us to be able to sit down and at least look at how we can do better and then put our house in order. So, but funny that the present leadership of PDP, which of course is the NWC that called for a meeting on NEC, and that is the job responsibilities on the acting chairman. So for him not to have called it, we don't know what had happened. That is why we also agitated that this thing must be done and done according to the law, because it behoves on him to do that, to call for the meeting, and it's constitutional because his tenure as an acting chairman is also within the constitution limited to 3 months. So with that, we're surprised that we cannot, we haven't had a meeting. So that is what we want to correct, and what is so, we're so glad in that finally tomorrow will be the D-Day.
Now, why did it take a legal action to get this NEC meeting to happen in the first place? What does it say about the division that is clearly in your party? But it's so funny that some of the stakeholders don't really see this as a division. They feel like everything is fine.
Not per se as concerning the legal action, but it's also part of it. A lot of groundwork has been going on. We have the aspirants to PDP that have been doing great work concerning the push. We stand with PDP, and a lot of people, stakeholders, that have been pushing for this thing to hold. So it's all it's all a convergence of ideas and push, for this to have happened, because it's something that was long overdue. So for us, at least we're here just a day by the grace of God. We all made it. We still us into 18, so we can at least try to put our hearts in order.
Now, let's talk about the tussle for chairmanship. Is this something that is going to be resolved? Because we heard reports that the caucus is going to, give a vote of confidence for Damagun, who has been acting as the chairman of the party. But we've also got confirmed reports that that vote of confidence has been passed. So leaving the room for chairmanship quite not in a position of doubt. So what do you make of this tussle for the chairmanship? Factions of, when I mean factions now, I mean various regions, people from geopolitical zones of the country. What is going to be their reaction to these developments? Because I know some people are hell-bent on Damagun being removed as the acting chairman.
Definitely, I think one of the critical things that will be resolved in this meeting, because what the Constitution says is very clear when it comes to replacement of chairman and all that, especially national chairman. It takes the NEC to ratify when the stakeholders from that particular zone decide to come together to say, look, we're endorsing, or we want our position to, for us to run our tenure. And that is what it ought to be, because Section 47 gives us that leeway that, look, anyone, when a chairman is removed, it's same from that same zone, he has to be replaced. And we have case precedent before now that points to that we ought to replace the chairman that was suspended, who is still in court. I don't forget, whether is in court does not stop the appointment of a chairman, as long as there's no judgment on it. We'll have Babanga Tuku time from Northeast, was replaced by Adamu Mazu. When also we had also the Chinkafi, what's it called? This Mahmoud Sharif. We also had the Kafi issue. So Secondary is also, in fact, Secondary is still in court as we speak. But yet we have had acting chairman that have done, like 2 chairmen, of course, So for us, it's just the right time now for us to get our act together and do what is right constitutionally, no personal sentiment.
All right. Honorable John, who do you see as the choice for chairmanship aside Damagun? But it's quite looking, it's going to be, the drama, quite the drama tomorrow. That's what it's looking like to me. But who do you think is top choice?
Actually, the present chairman, acting chairman cannot, be ratified. If they do that, it's going contrary to the Constitution, and a lot of PDP members, lawyers, would definitely frown at it, and it could cause for an implosion in the party, because he is from the Northeast as the deputy national chairman. He has his own statutory role to play. He was elected for that role, so he's just acting in a capacity that is not his. So for us, he will have to step down. NEC will have to ratify whoever is presented from the southeast, from the north central, to especially from Benue, where the former chairman, the suspended chairman, came from. So we see So tomorrow as a day for ratification for us in PDP, and especially for me from North Central, because I'm from North Central. Damago he has stayed off his time, beyond time, because he ought to have acted for just 3 months, constitutionally, and then they called for a meeting. But that he didn't do. That is why a lot of us are angry about his stay there. We want him out so that we can see our own tenure as North Central play out, because he's usurped our own time from Northeast, which is wrong for us. And now is the time to put things right and North Central to take its place and the party to move forward. Because without a substantive chairman, party machinery will not be oiled properly. It won't be oiled properly because there are certain things as an acting chairman I can't do. But with the substantive chairman, we could have a lot of things we do. Discipline can take place. We can have order. We can have things done properly, and that way, the party will progress for it as a viral opposition. So that is why it's very important that NEC will do the needful tomorrow and ensure that they rectify the candidate from North Central. We don't care who comes up, right? As long as it's from North Central. But we also know that we have a very competent, dedicated PDP man that dedicated interest to see how to move the party forward. It's not about personal issue, but it's about constitutional issue. So we see something that will revive the party tomorrow, because tomorrow for us is like a make or mar meeting. So, but we believe that PDP do what it is. It has a way of working itself out to do a family thing and ensure things are resolved and done properly.
Now, it appears to me that drama is likely going to unfold tomorrow because of factions. I know some of your members don't like that word, because I have been listening to conversations and interviews of members of your party, and they will be like, no, there is no faction. But clearly, you have people who believe in Atiku, you have people who believe and support Governor Wike. That's clearly factions. I don't know what you make of this, but the party is divided, and most people that I've spoken to will not see it as a form of division. But what is your take on these warring factions in your party, in what is believed could or put this party back together?
Let me say something here. The truth of the matter is, most times people want not to wash their dirty linen out there, but it's very clear that to us in PDP we have an issue internally. But we also believe that it can be worked out. It's not as if everything has imploded and then the house is broken into or shattered into pieces, as it were. But we know there are problems, and we have a resolution mechanism that will put that in place. That's why NEC is very important. And for talking about faction of Atiku and Wike, it's just natural for people to think that the faction. For us, there's no faction anywhere, because this is something that ought to be done the right way. For me, Atiku being a leader is a PDP man. Wike is an APC man, so it can't be a faction, because as long as we're concerned, Wike is not a PDP man.
Well, he is still a member of your party. He still identifies, as a member of the PDP. You can't really say he's not a member of the party, at least legally speaking.
You cannot be a member of your party and you're destroying it. You can't be a member of a household and you're destroying it. Then you can be what's it called? You can be banished, But he himself, he's been playing the ostrich all this while. Somebody that came out, clearly to say he will support the candidacy of an opposition man because it's working for him. What temerity! You can't be working for opposition and you are telling us that you work for someone who is in our party come 2027. It speaks of high level of indiscipline, high level of anti-party. So you can't be an anti-party purveyor and then you expect us to say you're a party man. No, you're not a party man, because you're not in tandem with what we want as a party. All right? Because how do you win with such a character? How do you accommodate such a character in a party, in a house that ought to be united? He's a very divisive man based on his speeches by himself. And look at his men in River State, for heaven's sake. They declare for APC. So how do you factor that? How do you reconcile that?
But you cannot deny the fact that there are members of the party who are still loyal to Governor Wike. Is that not going to prove to be a challenge if you say you don't see him as a member of your party? Because there are people who are loyal to him who will be in the meeting on Thursday.
Of course, there are people that are loyal. There are people that probably, sometimes out of friendship, right, you build relationship, over time you can't disconnect them, that you can't take away. But there are people that also have integrity that were his friends before that said, no, enough is enough. You cannot go this way for us to have, a workable party, a party that is effective, a party that will get its act together to ensure that will bring good governance to Nigerians the way it was back then in 2015. And today we know what it is. We can see the matrix in the market. We can see it in the life of people. We can see it in the way we live. We can see it in what people are actually going through. So we want to have a house put together, but we cannot have one man that is out there trying to destroy it. No. And his loyalists, of course, they want to fight dirty, right? Because of one or two things. But we also know that the very large number of PDP members want the good of the party, and they are going to fight it out because we have an ethic that keeps us together, right, as a party. So that, we believe, will be exhibited come tomorrow at that meeting. Okay. I believe, that's the belief, yeah.
The current acting chairman, John, from what I hear, is a loyal person to Wike. And this is also a sign of drama. So I don't know, you would need to convince me and the viewers, hopefully, on why you think Wike is not a stakeholder in this so-called NEC meeting that is going to go down tomorrow.
That is something that we also believe is loyal to Wike, because if he's not loyal to Wike, he will have done what is needed to have put our house in order to meet out the punishment, because there are measures, there are measures put in place for us to address the situation of a wicked man, But let's even leave that whether he's loyal to him or not. What we understand is tomorrow will be the needful, because if you are talking about drama will have only one vote tomorrow. So we have caucuses of 36 in the Senate, we have the one in House of Assembly, we have the House of Rep, we have the former governor, the BOT, the Governors Forum, So I think we have men of integrity amongst them that know, what to do when it comes to the issue of doing the right thing, following constitutional provision, as stated. Because an organization without laws and rules is something that is an organization that is already doomed already. But thank God we have a guiding law. We have extant laws that will put us, put things in the right perspective when it comes to tomorrow. So whether he likes it or not, he has to leave. He just has to leave because he was elected as deputy national chairman. He will have to go back to his seat. North Central will have to take our rightful place in the party on the table. So the needful will be done tomorrow, no matter what people are thinking. PDP will come out stronger, will come out better, I believe.
Now, John, there are those who feel like Wike, the G5 governors, should be punished, because when you look at the PDP, there's just been a whole lot of misbehavior in terms of, anti-party activities that is just so glaring. Will this meeting definitely, do the needful using the Constitution that is available to mete out punishments or sanctions, so to speak, on these defaulting party members?
Tomorrow agenda basically will address a lot of issues. I cannot say categorically because I'm not a member of NEC. But one thing I know is that even that so-called G5 is crumbled already, right? It's crumbled already. And of what effect do those G5 have? The only person that was there with them then, who is also, in government now, is Sheyi Makinde. From what we know, Sheyi Makinde is no longer understand the matrix now that, look, you know what? I need to support my party. Yes, you might have made errors based on certain exigencies last election, But I think he's retracing his step back for what we gathered. Another PDP, what do you call those G5 members, as we call them, you know, for us, they are, well, we'll say they are consequential when it comes to this. And we believe that NEC, if they need to do what is right, they should met out the right punishment for such people, to such people. If we, you know, when you follow law, it doesn't matter the number. It doesn't matter whose fault is God. The moment you can put laws in there, we can even bring back those we have lost because there is now rule of law, right? So if you decide to pamper them, you know, rub them on the head and then, you know, say, okay, because you're ex-governor, let's leave you and not give you the punishment. And, you know, then we'll have it wrong. So that punishment must be meted out. But of course, like we said, mechanisms are there as a family. But if they come out sincerely and say, look, you know what? We apologize for what we did. We're remorseful. Well, maybe there might be consideration. But if there's nothing like that, and they're still playing like, you know, like the, how they call it, is it the ostrich with the high shoulder and all that, then the right thing will be done by NEC. They are not bigger. Nobody is bigger than the party. No, nobody.
Now, let's talk about another form of faction in the party that is, you know, looming. You've got 13 governors in the PDP who seem to be split on who should contest the 2023 governorship election. You've got some governors in the north and then some in the south, and you're looking at how there's going to be like a merge in terms of interest, you know, from these governors. Of course, they had a meeting today with other caucus members and the board of trustees. How is this going to shape the party?
I don't think that is going to be on the table now because we have a long way to election. Yes, election is prepared from day one after the laws are passed. All right, but I don't think that will be part of the agenda tomorrow. What we need to do now is to put our hearts together, because if we don't put our hearts together, there's no way we can even win an election. People will take us serious. So I don't think that is on the table now. And don't forget, if anything is going to be done for a major change, the convention will have to do that. We will have to do that at the convention. And don't forget, the tenure of whoever comes in tomorrow from North Central will elapse come 25th December 2025 by the grace of God. God keeping us alive, right? So we see how another 2 years, so that can be structured. But, you know, I believe, I don't think it's going to be on the table. And I don't think it will make any of the governor that decides to play that kind of a game now is playing it at the peril of himself, of the party, and the well-being of Nigerians rather. So I don't think.
Now, the article issue is of concern to your party, at least from those of us who are outside the party, because it's clear that majority of the people in the party still feel like article, you know, is the man and she should be the man. But we're looking at the disconnect with Nigerians. Do you think that article is holding the party back from, you know, blossoming? You can use that word.
I don't believe so. You know why I say I don't believe so? Number one, Atiku Abubakar is the highest ranking PDP member in our party now. Obasanjo left. Jonathan is no longer, he's a statesman now, he's no longer a member of PDP, as it were. So Atiku being the former vice president, you know, first vice president in 1999 to 2007, he's a leader of the party. You can't take that away from him, no. You can't take that away. Now, talking about contest, I don't know if he's going to contest. But, you know, fundamental rights, you know, if he's well enough, he could go if he wants to, if he can play his game. Politics is all about diplomacy. If you can play your game well, why not? Right? Because, you see, it's only in Nigeria we talk about age, we talk about, you know, you have tried 1, 2, 3 times, you've lost. You know, Abraham Lincoln had that. Trump did before he got it, and he's coming back again. Nobody's even talking about his age in America. Nobody's talking about how many times are you contesting, and he's still getting there. As long as his mental faculties are right, as long as he still has his faculty in place, why not? If he wants to contest, if he can do it and he wins, why not? I don't think he's holding the party down. He has lofty ideas. We also understand what happened in 2019, in 2019, where he was robbed. All right, in 2023, we know what also transpired. So I believe there's always a time for someone. If he's destined to be the president of this country, why not? He has the right to do that. But I don't think that is on the table now. His main concern, if you ask me, is how to put PDP in order. That is his main concern that Atiku Abubakar, position now. That's his main concern.
Now, for some PDP members, they believe that for the party to regain itself, Atiku should step aside because you've lost elections, 3 elections consecutively. I mean, that should be a clear sign for people to, listen for what the masses, truly want in terms of someone who is young and vibrant, like what we can see in Senegal. Is your party reposition itself, to give Nigerians a young leader?
How do you step aside when you are putting your house in order? And elder in Africa, you know that an elder cannot sit in a home or in the market and you see a child's head bent. You want to say, look, young lady, or put that child's head back. You can't tell him to go sit back. Obasanjo left. Jonathan is doing other things. So with his wealth of experience is also needed. You can't wish him away. I think he's not somebody who can just wish away. No, he's been there. I'm not telling him he should leave the PDP and let it run on an autopilot. No.
Okay, so are we looking to see disciplinary measures? I would love to hear that clearly from you.
I think it could be part of those things that will be discussed tomorrow. All right? But I cannot say categorically because I'm not a member of NEC and I don't know what the agenda is on.
But what does the Constitution say about anti-party activities? I mean, I'm not talking about you now, but clearly there is a code of conduct, so to speak, on measures that should be meted out to people who default in one way or the other.
Of course, if anti-party will be disciplined, if you have played anti-party, will be disciplined. All right? And his men, okay, Chidi Lloyd, was it yesterday or 2 days ago, came out to say Wike asked them to vote for APC, for presidency, for National Assembly, for PDP. And I believe, so you can understand the level of impunity, the level of high-handedness of thinking that he can do what he likes because he didn't get the ticket. It tells you the kind of selfishness that runs in his blood. All right? So if someone that was his leader, Odili, at that time, had to step down for Yar'Adua, and there was no noise about it. Come on, please. That tells you somebody that is selfish. And I believe for NEC to do us well, I call on them today that everyone, no matter who he is or no matter who she is, there should be, the punishment based on the Constitution to all of them that played anti-party. Right? So there should be a punishment. That is the position of every one of us. That is when we can take PDP serious. That's the truth. Because it's gotten to a point in which PDP have become a laughing stock because we have refused to do the needful over the past month. And it's so glaring, there's nothing to be hidden. It's quite open what most of them did. But they will come and tell you, oh, we're sorry. Like Fayose came out some 3 days ago that he's sorry for what he did. What kind of funny comedian is that? You make a party lose an election because of your own selfish aim, and you come out some few days. Do you know how many people lost their life because of that? Do you know how many people lost their livelihood? Do you know the investment of time, of resources into that election? And some people just decide, let's do it because I have to benefit for it personally. Look at somebody like Wike. You make sure the party, by whatever means, lost the presidential in River State, and then you are appointed as a minister in FCT under an APC government. You pledged your loyalty to them, So what else does NEC need to prove that this man has played anti-party? What else should NEC do? Need to know to wield the big hammer.
All right, Honorable John, what are the chances of the PDP, looking at the fact that we've got the Edo and Ondo state governorship elections? This is an opportunity for the party to clearly show that they are still in the game.
I don't think it will. Of course, this is one of the staggered elections, which we're going to undertake. Most especially with the president, whoever comes in as the chairman will have to run. I see us having a very good play in Edo State, because we have a candidate that is so grounded, a candidate that is smart, a candidate that knows what it takes to develop a state. He has his agenda clearly spelled out. Gadolo is somebody that is so smart. As a businessman, blue chip companies, is chairman, and they are successful and running very well. A top law firm. So we believe he has what it takes. Actually, he has been in government before now, but not in an elected position, but through policy directions by guiding the state government and all that, to ensure they come up with developmental projects. So he is not a stranger to it. So Edo State for us, it's for the taking, as far as I'm concerned, because APC, even with their government, the machinery will not help them. This time, the people know who to vote for. They understand what the metrics are to ensure that they have a good candidate that will continue the project that Obaseki is doing, in that state, and continue that way. We can have a robust administration, a robust government that will be all-encompassing and ensure for developmental purpose for Edo State and the people. Credible candidates are coming. We're just waiting for their primaries to come up, and then we'll kickstart. And I see Edo State, Ondo State also, we're going to have a strong showing as long as we have a very good candidate that is going to represent us. APC, has failed generally in all the states. They failed us. They failed Nigerians. They've shown that they don't have capacity to run a government. Flip-flop. We have so much, what we call insecurity. We have so much. UNICEF brought a data out that in the past few years, over 1,000 children have been kidnapped. We have people there are people who are still under, the hold of bandits. We have banditry everywhere. We have people leaving their farms. We have high cost of goods and services. We have food prices almost beyond people's reach, because of wrong policy. People can't go to farm because of insecurity. So what are we talking about? So I think if people are reasonable enough and they're more smarter now, politically savvy now, to know who to choose as leaders and with government, because PDP has shown that they have what it takes to bring good.
All right, Honorable John, finally, as we get to wrap things up on the show, do you think Nigerians would consider the PDP after all the years of governance? Because, all you just mentioned, talking about the APC, I was just like, okay, Nigerians kind of faced same challenges. So is it that Nigerians will see something new and fresh and say, okay, things have changed in the realm of the PDP. We are ready to vote for them?
Okay, as you're talking about what we went through, right? What did we go through? What was right? What was our debt profile when PDP came in 1990, 1999? What was our debt profile? What was all at that time? We were able to manage it, no blame game. We were able to go around it, to put Nigeria back. We see our middle class under PDP. We know how life was at least at ease for people, right? So there was no hunger like this. Nobody sold their children because of food, all right? Nobody was fighting. No couple were fighting at that time to ensure they have food on the table. We saw a viral video the other day when an old man was telling the husband, "Give me food, I'm hungry." We've seen severally people jumping into the lagoon due to due to distress. We've seen people take rat poison. We've seen a lot of 419 Yahoo Plus in this under this government. Why? Because the people don't have jobs to do. They don't have jobs. We created a lot of jobs. We created a lot of jobs through policies, direction. We saw privatization that worked for us. How do you have telecoms under PDP? Government is not wasting funds on getting civil servant accommodation that they don't value. You understand? So we're not paying sort of things. What are we talking about? All the indices are there to show that PDP has what it takes. And I can tell you have what it takes. These people were never prepared for governance. And no PDP man had ever said, "I'm unaware of what is happening around my environment." And that is what we saw during Buhari time. This man is like today, El-Rufai, an APC man, came to tell us that your President Tinubu is still paying subsidy when he came out of so I don't know what kind of what spirit came upon him on that day. Subsidy has been removed completely, and they removed subsidy how many times? How many times?
Now, there are those who will say that El-Rufai is playing politics because he was not given an appointment. So what would you say to that?
El-Rufai is saying the truth. Look at the power sector. The minister came the other day and said, if you are going now, you switch off your fridge because Nigerians are wasting light. Do you even have the light? Like as I'm talking to you now, I don't have light. I don't have light. We're supposed to be in band A. No light. They tell you 20 hours and they just collect money from you because IMF pushed them to doing that. 3 days after IMF talked about removing something from electricity or power, as they call it, what happened? He went to town. The minister went to town. He started singing about removing subsidy. Or people say, who runs government like that? Who runs government like that? After all, we have developed nations. In US, they are subsidizing, what's it called? Dairy products. In Australia, we have in China, in Japan. Tell me which economy is not subsidizing one thing that's critical to the people. I will tell you this. APC was never prepared for governance. They don't have what it takes to run government. Naira, they say it's falling right now, is because they removed enough forex to be backing Naira. You see what will happen.
Now, okay, I think we lost connection with Honorable John Schwai, but there's just a whole lot to think about when we look at. Okay, we have one that he's back with us. Hello, Honorable Schwai, are you there with us? Unfortunately, our time is up. We've got to let you go. So thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you once again for the privilege of being on your platform.
The pleasure is all mine. We'll get to be following up with what's going to happen on Thursday. Of course, on Friday, we'll be here to break it all down for you. But we'll hear from the PDP, someone who is a NEC member of the PDP, who will be with us in studio to actually talk about all of this. But there's just quite a whole lot to unpack when you talk about politics in Nigeria, given the fact that we've seen the PDP be in power for so many years, from President Obasanjo, before Goodluck Jonathan, and then, we've seen the APC come into power. And when you look at the track record of the PDP, there's just quite a lot to unpack. He talked about insecurity, that we are facing right now. I mean, the successive government, is what we are experiencing today in Nigeria. When you talk about the Nigerian experience, whatever we are facing today in Nigeria is a culmination of what has been existing before. This is not me being spokesman for the APC, but just trying to balance some of the thoughts that he shared with us on the show. But on the NEC meeting, it's very, very important that the PDP gets its house in order, because everyone you will talk to will tell you that the PDP is in a dilemma, and they need to get out of that, because we've been hearing conversation around one-party system. That's what we've been hearing. Oh, APC has turned Nigeria into a one-party system. But is it true? When we talk about party politics, there are a lot of things to consider. When you look at a party like the PDP, there's been so many agitations on who should be president. And we've had, former Vice President of the country, Atiku Abubakar, contest the first time, he did not win. Contest the second time, he did not win. Contest the third time, he still did not win. And 2027 is just by the corner. When you look at another opposition party like the Labour Party, conversations around the 2027 elections is still on. And now with this NEC meeting, there is no clear indication, at least from the reports that I have been watching, listening to, and the conversation I've been having with members of the party, that is clearly not the thinking of the PDP. And we are just going to focus on the chairmanship of the party. If that is all this NEC meeting is all about, then it clearly means that the People's Democratic Party is yet to learn its lesson. Because if we get and use this NEC meeting to just talk about who is going to lead the party without strategizing and aligning our thoughts and resolving the warring factions, you've got one party, that is sympathetic to Atiku, and another party that is sympathetic to Wike. If there is no fellowship, amongst the brethren of the members of the People's Democratic Party, then this party may not be able to stand a chance, against the ruling party, the All Progressive Congress. And they should learn from the All Progressive Congress. When you look at how they've been able to share power, amongst the 6 geopolitical zones in the country, their ability to carry everyone along. The PDP clearly is not listening. At least members in the NWC are not really listening to Nigerians, because when we talk about party, we forget that Nigerians are the ones who make up the party. So when political parties listen to the people, it's easy for them to get a connection, because when you listen to the people can now decide to become members of your party. And come tomorrow, it will give this political party the opportunity to be able to resolve all its crises and then see if it can stand a chance against the All Progressive Congress. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, my name is Morno Balagugu.